I never thought my life would unravel in a dusty courtroom in Phoenix, Arizona, under the harsh fluorescent lights that buzzed like angry bees. But there I was, facing Jake across the aisle, his tailored suit screaming success, while my simple blouse and jeans whispered survival. His mother, Margaret, sat behind him, her silver hair pulled tight, eyes like daggers aimed at my heart. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a southwestern drawl, banged her gavel, and Jake's lawyer launched into his spiel, painting me as the opportunist who'd latched onto a rising star. "She's after his fortune, Your Honor," the lawyer drawled, smirking like he'd already won. My hands clenched in my lap, nails digging into palms, as memories flooded me, not of anger, but of the quiet ache that had built over years. How had we gotten here? From sharing a leaky trailer in the Arizona Badlands to this? It started 7 years ago, when Jake and I were just two dreamers scraping by in a rundown mobile home outside Tucson. The sun baked everything dry, and our AC unit wheezed like it was on its last breath. Jake had this wild idea for a tech startup, something about apps that connected ranchers with real-time weather data and supply chains, tailored for the vast western landscapes. He talked about it endlessly, his eyes lighting up like the desert stars. But ideas don't pay bills. We were flat broke, eating beans and rice most nights, splitting a single beer to celebrate small wins. I loved him fiercely, believed in him with a conviction that bordered on faith. So when he needed seed money for his prototype, I didn't blink. I picked up double shifts at the local diner, flipping burgers during the day and bartending at night in a dive bar where cowboys tipped in quarters. My feet throbbed, my back screamed, but every extra dollar went into his dream. I'd come home at dawn, collapse beside him, and whisper, "This is for us,
Jake.
our future."
Inside.
Doubts whispered sometimes. Was I foolish, pouring my youth into his vision while mine faded? But love silenced them. I saw his potential, the way he'd hunch over his beat-up laptop, coding through dust storms. He called me his rock, his partner in crime. We'd laugh about our empire, a joke back then, but I felt it in my bones. I wasn't just supporting, I was building. Skipping sleep, selling my old truck to fund his software licenses. My inner voice urged me on. This is what partnership means. Sacrifice now, share later. But as months turned to years, a subtle shift crept in. Jake stopped noticing my exhaustion. He'd snap when I asked about progress. "You wouldn't understand, Emily. You're not in tech." It stung, but I swallowed it, telling myself stress was the culprit. Margaret, his mom, started dropping by more, her pickup kicking up dust in our driveway. She never hid her disdain. "You're sweet,
Dear.
but Jake needs someone who matches his ambition." I'd smile through gritted teeth, thinking, I am his ambition. Without me, he'd have folded. The first breakthrough came like a monsoon, sudden and life-giving. A local investor in Phoenix bit, then another from California. Jake's app took off, helping farmers across the West optimize crops amid droughts. We moved to a sleek condo in Scottsdale, with views of red rock canyons that stretched forever. I was thrilled, unpacking boxes with shaky hands, imagining our new chapter. But the change in Jake was like erosion, slow, then irreversible. He traded flannel for button-downs, our cozy nights for networking galas. I'd tag along at first, feeling out of place in my thrift store dresses among venture capitalists. Margaret became a shadow, advising on image. One evening, she pulled me aside in our kitchen, Her voice honeyed poison. Emily. Honey. Maybe tone down the small-town vibe. Jake's playing in the big leagues now. Jake overheard and chuckled, not defending me. That night, alone in bed, my mind raced. Am I losing him? Or was I never truly seen? The doubt gnawed deeper. A constant companion. I tried harder, polishing my speech, reading tech articles, but it felt like chasing a mirage. Success had rewritten our story, casting me as the footnote. As Jake's company exploded, valuations in the millions, offices sprouting in Denver and Vegas, I faded further. He forgot anniversaries, dismissed my tutoring side gig as hobby money. Inside, turmoil brewed. I gave everything. Why am I the outsider now? One scorching afternoon, I confronted him after finding receipts for lavish lunches with associates. Jake, we built this together, I said, voice cracking.
He sighed.
Eyes cold. Emily, you helped early on. But let's be real, you waitressed. I coded the future. The words landed like a gut punch. Helped, I was the foundation. But arguing felt futile. His ego had armored him. Margaret fueled it, whispering about upgrading his life. I retreated inward, questioning my worth. Did I enable this? Should I have demanded more credit? The love I once felt twisted into resentment. But beneath it, a flicker of hope lingered. Maybe he'd remember. Maybe we'd reclaim us. But deep down, I knew the desert winds had shifted forever. The gala was meant to be our triumph, Jake's company hitting its stride. A black-tie affair at a ritzy resort in Sedona. Red cliffs glowing under sunset. I scrimped for weeks, tutoring extra kids online, skipping coffees to afford a crimson dress that hugged my figure modestly, making me feel elegant for once. I curled my hair, applied lipstick with care, hoping he'd see me, not the worn-out wife, but the partner who'd stood by him. As I stepped out, his glance was dismissive.
That's
bold, he muttered, adjusting his tie without a smile. In the car, silence stretched like the endless highway, his phone buzzing with messages while I stared at saguaro cacti blurring past. Why do I keep trying? My mind screamed. Does he even see the woman who bankrolled his first server? At the event, Margaret greeted us, her emerald gown shimmering, diamonds catching the light. She eyed my dress, leaned to Jake, and whispered something that made him snort. Laughter rippled nearby, heat rising in my cheeks. I forced a smile, mingling awkwardly with tech execs who asked what I did. I support Jake, I'd say, but their nods were polite pity. When Jake took the stage for his speech, my heart pounded. He thanked investors, his team, even Margaret for her guidance. Then, casually, and shout out to Emily, who slung plates back when we were scraping by, kept the coffee flowing. The crowd chuckled, but it sliced through me. Slung plates? I juggled 3 jobs, paid our rent, believed when no one else did. I excused myself, slipping into the cool night air, stars mocking my tears. Am I invisible? Did my sacrifices mean nothing? The drive home alone in a cab amplified the isolation, our condo a gilded cage. Views of the valley indifferent to my pain. That night, curled on the couch, memories assaulted me. 5 years back, during our first vacation, a shoestring road trip to Vegas after Jake's initial funding trickle. We laughed like kids, splurging on cheap buffets, wandering the strip hand in hand. Amid the neon chaos, we ducked into a quirky law office for fun, joking about prenups. If I turn into some hotshot jerk, Jake grinned, you'll need protection. I teased back, Signed in Vegas. Baby, dramatic as hell. The lawyer, a grizzled guy with a Nevada twang, chuckled and drew one up. We added silly clauses. Emily gets all the remote controls. Jake handles laundry forever. But seriously, Jake insisted. If the company blows up and I forget your role, you get half. Fair's fair. We signed. Notarized it on the spot, legal in Nevada, binding anywhere. I tucked it away in an old ammo box from my grandpa, buried in storage. A joke, but a promise.
Now.
Alone in the condo, city lights twinkling like false hopes. That memory resurfaced. I rummaged through closets, dust motes dancing in the beam of my phone's flashlight, until I found the box. The envelope was faded, but the document crisp. Reading it, tears blurred the words. 50% equity if divorce followed success, and contested contributions.
He knew then.
He valued me. But success had amnesia. My inner storm raged. Betrayal burns. But this paper remembers. I locked it in our safe. A silent sentinel. No confrontation yet. I needed time to process the hurt. The what-ifs. What if I'd spoken up sooner? What if love wasn't enough? The emotional weight pressed heavier. A desert boulder on my chest. Jake came home late, reeking of scotch, mumbling apologies that rang hollow. I feigned sleep, mind whirling. This isn't revenge. It's reclaiming truth. But the ache deepened, love's remnants clashing with righteous fury. Weeks blurred into a haze of pretense. Jake grew distant. Nights out networking with whispers of a Serena from marketing. I saw texts, felt the knife twist, but held back. Am I holding on to ghosts? My tutoring sessions became escapes. Kids' innocent questions a bomb. Margaret ramped up her barbs during visits. Emily,
Dear.
maybe focus on yourself. Jake's world is expanding. Expanding without me. The internal conflict intensified. Fight or flee. Honor the past or forge ahead. One evening, after Jake snapped about a misplaced file, I retreated to the balcony, wind whipping my hair. I built this life too. Why erase me? The humane spark flickered. Maybe he was lost. Not evil. But pain demanded action. When divorce papers arrived via courier, like a venomous snake in an envelope, claiming I contributed zilch, my resolve hardened. Jake wanted war. I'd bring peace through proof. The papers hit like a dust devil, unannounced. Destructive. Jake's signature scrawled at the bottom, demanding full custody of the company, the condo, even our shared truck. His claim, Emily provided no substantial financial or operational support.
No substantial?
I'd wired my entire savings for his first patent filing, worked graveyard shifts at a truck stop to cover prototypes. The lawyer's jargon twisted facts. My jobs deemed incidental. My role, emotional support only. Margaret's influence oozed from every page. She'd always seen me as the interloper, the small-town girl dragging her golden boy down. Sitting at our granite island, papers scattered like fallen leaves. Sobs racked me. How could he rewrite our history, deny the sweat, the faith? Inner voices clashed, one screaming betrayal, another whispering forgiveness. He's changed. But was he always this? Or did I enable the monster? I didn't rage call him. Instead, I drove into the desert, saguaros standing sentinel as I screamed into the void. Why me? What lesson in this hell? Back home, I retrieved the prenup, had it verified by a local attorney in Phoenix, ironclad under Nevada law, enforceable in Arizona. No loopholes. It acknowledged my foundational contributions. This isn't greed, it's justice. But emotions surged deeper. A tidal wave of regret. I loved too blindly. Sacrificed without boundaries. Jake texted taunts. Let's end this amicably, sign, and move on. Amicably? He was erasing me. Margaret called. Voice dripping faux sympathy. Emily. Be reasonable. Jake's built an empire. Empire on my back. I hung up, heart pounding. Am I vengeful? Or just human? Court day dawned brutally hot. Phoenix streets shimmering like mirages. I dressed simply. The prenup in a folder clutched like a lifeline. Jake strode in.
Confident.
Margaret trailing like a shadow. His lawyer, a slick type from L.A., opened. Your Honor, this is clear-cut. Mrs. Harper contributed minimally, waitressing gigs. Nothing tied to the business. Snickers echoed. Margaret nodded smugly. My turn. Standing. Voice steady despite the storm inside. Your Honor, I submit this prenuptial agreement. Signed 5 years ago. The bailiff took it. Judge Harlan, a weathered man with a cowboy squint, scanned it. Gasps rippled. Jake frowned. What prenup? His lawyer stammered. We weren't informed. Margaret paled, gripping her pearls. The judge's eyes narrowed. Mr. Harper, recognize your signature. Jake hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, but it was a joke. Vegas thing. Judge Harlan leaned forward. Jokes don't get notarized.
Son.
This outlines equal split upon contested divorce post-success. The room hushed. I spoke. Emotions raw. I wasn't just there.
Jake.
I funded the dream when banks laughed. 3 jobs. Endless nights, because I believed in us. My voice cracked. Inner turmoil spilling. This hurts more than winning. Jake's face crumpled. A flicker of the old him surfacing. Margaret hissed, but the judge silenced her. Documents valid. Mrs. Harper entitled to 50%. Murmurs swelled. Jake slumped, whispering, Emily. I met his eyes. Pain mirroring mine. We both lost something irreplaceable. Leaving court, reporters swarmed. Emily. Revenge sweet. I pushed through. Silent. The victory felt hollow. Emotions crashing harder. Regret for lost love. Pity for his fall. What if we'd communicated? Valued each other? Back in the condo. I packed slowly. Skyline mocking my solitude. The prenup framed on the wall wasn't triumph. It was a reminder of fragility. Partnership demands respect. Or it crumbles. But a new resolve stirred. I'll rebuild. Wiser. Kinder to myself. Jake called later. Voice broken. Can we talk? I paused. Heart aching deeper than before. Maybe redemption starts with forgiveness. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Dust settling slowly over shattered illusions. Headlines blared. Western tech mogul loses half empire in prenup shock. Reporters camped outside. Microphones thrusting like spears. I ignored them, retreating to a quiet Airbnb in the Sonoran desert, cacti whispering secrets in the wind. Emotions engulfed me, waves of vindication crashing against shores of sorrow. I won, but at what cost? Erased years. Fractured trust. Nights were endless monologues. Did I push too hard? Or not enough soon? Jake's betrayal stings. But my silence enabled it. The humane pull grew. He's human. Flawed like me. Success blinded him. Perhaps empathy can heal. Jake's calls persisted. Voicemails laced with regret. Emily. I screwed up. Mom pushed. But it's on me. Let's meet. Margaret texted once. Terse. You've destroyed him.
No apology.
Just blame. Her poison rooted deep. I drove to my condo, packing mementos, a faded photo from our trailer days. Smiles genuine. Touching it, tears flowed. We were real once. What killed us?
Prida?
Neglect? The internal battle raged fiercer, revenge's thrill fading to compassion's ache.
Take it all.
Or offer olive branch. My lawyer advised maximizing. Sell shares. Liquidate. But heart whispered otherwise. Lesson here. Value people over empires. We met at a neutral spot, a dusty cafe in Flagstaff. Mountains looming like judges. Jake looked haggard. Suit rumpled. Eyes red-rimmed. Emily, he started. Voice cracking. I forgot everything you did. The jobs. The faith. I let success twist me. I listened. Emotions surging. Pain. But also pity. You erased me.
Jake.
Called my sacrifices negligible. He winced. Mom fed my ego. Serena was a mistake. Lonely. Stupid. Infidelity's knife twists anew. But I probed deeper. Why exclude me? I built with you. Tears welled in his eyes.
Fear.
You reminded me of struggles. I wanted shiny new. Honesty hung heavy. My mind whirled. Forgive or sever? The prenup stands, I said softly. But I don't want war. Half is fair. But let's divide humanely, keep the company whole. Me as silent partner. His shock mirrored my turmoil. Am I weak or wise? Margaret arrived uninvited, bursting in. Emily, you're ruining us. Jake stood. Mom, stop. This is my mess. She recoiled, storming out. A crack in their armor. We talked hours, raw, real. He admitted therapy needs. I confessed resentment's toll. Emotions peaked. Cathartic release. Love's remnants stir. But trust's rubble remains. Driving home. Desert stars guided. Redemption's path is mutual growth. Weeks later. Settlement finalized, 50% mine. But I invested part back. Ensuring stability. Jake sold peripheral assets. Focused on core mission. Tech for Western communities. We parted amicably.
No hatred.
Lesson learned. Partnerships thrive on gratitude. Falter on ingratitude. Alone. I started anew. A small consulting firm helping startups. Drawing from scars. Emotions deepened. Reflective peace settling. Betrayal taught self-worth. Forgiveness freed me. Jake messaged occasionally. Updates laced with humility. Margaret softened. A reluctant apology call. I was wrong. Healing slow bloom. The prenup, still framed, symbolized not victory, but wisdom, cherished contributors, success shared indoors. Rebuilding felt like monsoon aftermath, muddy, but fertile. I moved to a modest ranch outside Albuquerque, New Mexico, trading city gloss for open skies. The vast western expanse mirrored my inner vastness, scars deep, but horizons endless. Emotions overwhelmed now. A profound mix, grief for lost love, gratitude for growth. Jake's betrayal shattered illusions. My response rebuilt me. Nights under stars. Monologues evolved. What if I'd valued myself sooner? Forgiven faster? Life's lesson. Resilience blooms from ruin. I poured into work, mentoring young entrepreneurs, emphasizing partnership sanctity. Remember your roots, I'd say. Voice thick with memory. Their eager eyes reflect my past hope. Jake transformed to therapy. Scaled back lifestyle. He reached out. Emily, your grace saved me from bitterness.
The met sporadically.
coffee in neutral towns, conversations laced with nostalgia. "I miss us," he admitted once, eyes pleading. My heart ached fiercely. Echoes of love linger, but wounds worn. We grew apart.
Jake.
But I'm proud of who you're becoming. Margaret. Surprisingly, thawed holiday cards.
Tentative visite.
I underestimated you, she confessed over tea, voice trembling. Her vulnerability mirrors mine. Emotions crested. Forgiveness isn't erasure, it's evolution. The company thrived under shared stewardship, my silent input via emails. His operations. Headline shifted. Ex-spouses turn rivals to allies in tech triumph. I smiled reading them.
No gloating.
Just quiet affirmation. Success isn't solitary. One evening, watching sunset paint canyons gold, peace enveloped me. Betrayal's fire forged strength, humanity's water quenched it. The prenup, now a relic in storage. Taught lightly, appreciate supporters. Communicate openly, embrace humility. Life's drama resolved not in revenge, but redemption, ours. Intertwined yet independent. Years on, I stood at a startup conference in Denver, sharing our story anonymized. Partnership demands mutual respect, I said, voice steady amid applause.
Inside.
Emotions soared highest, empowerment, closure. From dusk to dawn.
Everisen.
Jake attended, nodding from the back. Afterward, a hug. Thank you for the lesson.
Norekinling.
Just mutual regard. Love's end birthed wisdom. Driving home through prairies, wind singing. I reflected. Humanity prevails when we choose grace over grudge. The West's rugged beauty echoed my journey, tough, transformative, timeless.